Oh, yeah, baby. Buddy, yes, it
Yes.
is.
Buddy's been up like ready. Go, go, go. Open.
Y'all remember the Mervin's commercial? Open. That's wait, maybe you don't.
I do.
Oh man, good morning, Jennifer.
Good morning.
Jesse, Miss Jen, it's always a pleasure to hang out with y'all.
Yes.
Excited?
Always.
People that have been waiting for this.
Always excited. I'm specifically excited for this episode because over the last month or so, it's been a really hard journey for me. But I'm getting back into it and ready to get back in my DJ producer booth and take care of myself a little bit more than what I have before. So looking forward to the lessons today, y'all.
Beautiful. Yes, Adam, we love you. The No BS tribe loves you. Several people have been reaching out, asking, check in, and I said, what better way than to show the beautiful face? Just so y'all know, Adam was gonna shave. But we said, no, Adam, keep it gruff.
You might not recognize me.
We don't want you to be too clean cut coming into it. Make us look really bad.
Clean cut in construction just doesn't work, y'all.
It don't make it. It don't make it. And then Jennifer, she's back from her FMLA. You were off for like a whole series.
It was not. It just happened to be the timing of it. It was like literally like 2.5 days, but it just happened to be right in the middle of when we do a live stream. So it seems like I told you, I was like, I'm excited about today because I feel like it's been a month since I've seen everybody.
Yeah.
What? Oh, we got new people. I see some new names.
I'm going back to the booth here. There's too many.
No, okay, wait, no. Before you go, please. So one, you put out a podcast this week.
Yes.
From Lean Builder, Hoots on the Ground, which was amazing, but you embraced everything that we talk about: vulnerability, authenticity, just transparency, every piece of it on your podcast, talking about your journey over the last month and a half and where you've been. And again, so a lot of people, asking about you, wanting to know what's going on. Number one, the podcast says a lot, but also can you just let people know you're getting back in the groove? Just kind of say hi to everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, again, I wouldn't miss it for the world. I love this group. I have a lot of care and compassion for this group. Just the support is unbelievable. And so, just trying to practice what has been preached to me. I feel a little bit like Jen and Jess's guinea pig over the last year or so. And it's starting to wear off. It's starting to work. And so I am feeling better. I went into the hospital with some kidney transplant rejection. We have done a manually reset on my entire body, all the way down to the cell level. And so just taking a little bit to get my body back in action the way Hoots used to perform. And I'm, actually just yesterday was kind of my full day of scheduling one thing after another, and didn't take any breaks. And so really looking forward to today. Yeah, that's right, Jess. Really looking forward to today to be able to recharge the batteries and get out there. And again, as Davis just said here, Hoots is back, baby.
Yes.
Watch out, baby.
Lots of love from Adam.
Hoots is back.
I'm going to go read these comments and start teeing them up for you.
We got tons of people checking in, so hook it up, my man.
Okay. So,
Jennifer is back.
Yes.
And we got a lot of awesome stuff.
We did. So I'm seeing names in here, people that I haven't seen before. So that's amazing. We're super excited about that. Got her. She just got on this in the last couple of days. Giselle, welcome. We're so happy you're here. Want you to connect to all the people in the comments because they connect to you and they wish so much love. So again, if you're not connected to Giselle, she's putting amazing stuff out there. Go follow her. And then Giselle, everybody in the comments are going to put some love on you. So.
Yes, totally. We got Holly.
Holly,
believe it or not, Jen, myself, and Holly were all in Dallas today.
What?
Yes. Well, the Dallas area, because I'm not exactly sure where I'm at, but I'm in a hotel that's close to Dallas. I know that.
Okay. That's okay. Yes. I love it.
Oh, Bruce, that's my buddy Bruce up in the NYC. So him and Will are both in New York City.
What?
What's going on, Bruce? Thank you for joining us, Steve. Oh, anybody remember Steve Martin?
Our live stream on Wednesday where he's open mic and sang the song he wrote about our tribe, about like this experience on LinkedIn and how we've connected and everything. He wrote a song about it and like sang it for the first time in front of an open mic scenario. It was amazing. And it's on our page.
It's on the feed, and there's 2 songs. It was Steve. Thank you, man. That was beautiful, moving. That's what it's about. That's what we're here for. Oh, we got a LinkedIn user.
So Michelle Cordy, amazing. You need to go follow her. But Michelle, you need to connect with Amy Campbell, who's hopefully going to be in the chat this morning. And she is really good at helping people become un-LinkedIn users. So she's helped Kirby. She's helped some other people that popped up like this for a while. And there's some settings that cause this. So Amy, yes.
Uh-oh.
So if y'all connect, she can help you get there. So I know that she's really good at that. So welcome, Michelle.
Oh man, we got some requests. So Amy Campbell says she can't see the comments coming in.
Refresh maybe.
Yeah, comments coming in from LinkedIn. I'm gonna check on my end. No, I got them. So it's possible maybe a jump out, jump back in because mine are working.
Good morning, Emily. Woo, we got so many new names. Whether they've been there or they just haven't been commenting, but we've got new names on here, which is amazing. And Jesse, what happened this morning? Like what happened like right before we went on live this morning on our No BS page?
I lost.
Jesse, what is our number right now?
Oh, duh. We have, I'm looking at it right now. All of us, No BS Tribe, just hit the 500 mark.
Which is so cool. Like 500 people like show up to listen to this craziness.
Dude, it's awesome. We were supposed to have like confetti and streamers and glitter and baby oil, but Jennifer shot down the baby oil, so I shot down the rest of it.
No fishnet, no bare chest, no baby oil. We don't do that on live. No.
Oh man, we got a lot of people out there. Look, yes, beautiful. And we got a request from
yay.
Somebody said something about TikTok dancing.
So that's on our agenda. We got a lot of people connected this weekend and next week with some events we have coming up. And in 2 weeks, like it's blowing my mind right now, there's like a lot of people that are going to be connected in the same area up in North Carolina area. So again, they're on the docket. So there should be some things rolling out in the next couple weeks.
Oh yeah. Well, we're definitely going to do a 500 backflipping celebration TikTok. Backflip TikTok celebration. Keep your eyes posted. It's coming. Watch out. And we got Natasha coming in from South
International.
And then we got Rachel. Always there to support us. And then we got Carrie coming in from Melbourne, Australia.
Yes.
Miss Carrie, how are you? Carrie, I'm not allowed to curse here. Oh, if y'all don't know Carrie, connect with her like on Clubhouse.
Yes.
Somewhere you can talk with her because when she cusses, it's just the awesomest experience. I love to hear her curse. Sorry, I don't know if that was.
It's got an accent.
Yes, it's so cool. It just makes me giggle.
Even though but we also had a really cool thing happen this week that we have to give a shout out. So Jesse and I do a lot of individual podcasts. So we kind of go and we are on different places. Sometimes we cross and we're on the same place. But in the last couple of weeks, you and I were recorded together on Jason Schroeder's Elevate Construction podcast. So he brought us both on together and we did a podcast with him. And so if you haven't seen some of those nuggets out there, he's been doing amazing on celebrating it. But then Robbins and Morton shared it.
Yes.
Which is a huge one. And the feedback I got was, thank you, Jennifer, for making sure Jesse didn't cuss or say things that we couldn't share. So that way we were able to share it. So thank you, Jesse, for
censorship. And Matt is coming along.
Matt's right. Matt, see, Steve Martin needs to connect with Matt because, like, I feel like they're jiving because Steve's like right there where he's the compliance guy.
I don't like that. I need support. I'm a peacock. I got to spread my wings and fly. Come on, people, you're holding me back. We got Giselle. She's first timer.
Yes. And so Ashley P, I don't know if she's out there and she's just not commenting or not, but Ashley tagged Giselle in the comments. And then Giselle jumped in and she is like here showing up, which is the very first thing you have to do to get in this tribe is you got to show up.
10-4. And so we got lots of people to recognize, but
yes.
I also want to, we did have a topic to discuss.
We do have a topic, and it's so important that we can probably spend all morning talking about it.
Oh, man. So we're going to be talking about self-care, self-compassion, and likely that's going to take us into the go-getters, the go-givers, the givers and takers. So we're going to kind of the process or the method is zoom in. We start with me and Jennifer personally, and of course you guys as y'all pour into the comments, and then we'll zoom out and start thinking about our network and how we manage those types of things so that we can best serve, right? Like for me, that's the language all the time. How is this going to equip me to better serve the people in my space, the people I care about? And that makes me comfortable or gives me greater comfort, because if I wasn't making some of those decisions to serve, it would only be making those decisions for my comfort. And that there's a difference there, right? There's some nuance. But before we get into that, shout out to Mr. Ian Smith. Jen, isn't he quoted in like a book?
Yes. So another, like, we got a lot going on, Jesse. Like, I don't even know how, but we do. So we're like, today we're like final review with our editor, because like we have a book coming out and we have a lot of our tribe members that have quotes in the book from these comments. Like when we went through our 5S and personal relationship stuff last year and did all those live streams on 5S and how it ties to personal relationships and find it there. And then Jesse decided, let's just do a book on it. So we took a lot of that content, but we also took a lot of the comments and the things that the people were contributing. And so they're like in the book.
Yes.
And then and then these little things that you have up top, what are those, Jesse? What are these little doodle things you have up here?
So I found us an artist / illustrator and contracted with her to put some of the. So this is another sneak peek. These are your creations, Jennifer. Like you're the artist here. So Jennifer is glamorous social media personality, influencer, author, and also illustrator, y'all. And so we want to start kind of flashing these little doodles up here that you're going to see in the book. But these were picked specifically for today's conversation, right? Because we're talking about work and home balance and the frustration and then both sides of the gate. Armando, I don't know if Armando's going to be on today, so let's give him some love. His daughter is graduating university today. So he's in Oklahoma. So way to go, Donala's family. A lot of people doing a lot of beautiful things. Valerie says, good morning. What's going on, Valerie? All right, so here we go. Steve Martin. What happened? Jamie Knox. Yep. Jen does it all. She's a virtuoso.
But I want to hit real fast before. That's fine. Where we go. No, you can pull that up. I just want to, before we move on into the topic, I want to add on to your serving people stuff. So no, you're good.
Okay. So no BS with Jen and Jess. We've hit 500. No BS tribulation. And then Herbert Reed asked, who is the 500th person?
That was.
Let's see. I'll find him right now.
Sean, so that was this morning, right before we started.
Yes. Sean Fair is number 500.
Yes.
Shout out to Sean. Thank you. And whoever recruited him in, thank you. Thank you very much. It may have been Amy Campbell because she's like out there super duper recruiting.
Okay. So I want to add to what you said, but I want to also, like, those of you that are new and that are just showing up today for the first time, Jesse and I are going to talk, and we're going to try to engage and riff off each other and also bring in stuff from the comments. But the value here is not just is Jesse and I. Like, we're here kind of having fun. There is every person in the comments, every person that has shown up today, like, will engage and talk and interact. And so please give love to those that are new. But also, if you're new and you have questions or you want to, connect to those people or ask questions as they're putting comments up, please, please, please make sure that you do that. So
yes. And, I want to make a little correction. So thank you, Amy. Look, see, Amy's out there. She's just,
I know she's loving already.
She's killing it, right? The recruiter. The word followers does not do our tribe justice. And our chief marketeer, Steve Martin, created the phrase of contributors. And to echo what you've said, Jen, like the spirit, the heart of the content that we produce here is 100% built on the contributions of the tribe that shows up and feeds into the conversation. We're using the term followers because that's the way LinkedIn is set up. But just so you know, or just so you're clear that I do not see you as followers. Y'all are 100% contributors. My life has transformed dramatically, and it's because of all of you. So love you. Contributors for life. The tattoos will be coming out soon. And since people had a problem with like the left cheek, we're going to go ahead and improve placement on the back of your neck. This way, when you go to meetings and stuff, nobody will freak out. What do you think, Jen?
Yes. We're just going to go. Yes.
Okay.
So I want to add, so you talked about what we're talking about today and the importance of it and the serving part, which is a huge piece of your platform and how you talk about how we're serving. But again, I want to add to that we can't serve tools. We can't serve processes. We can't serve policies. We can't serve those things. So the only way we can serve is people. And if we stop and we think about it that way, and that's how you want to show up, and that's how I think a lot of our tribe members show up, is it has to start with people. And you and I were in a construction industry. Lean is our space. And so a lot of times it's easy to get caught up in those tools and those processes and those things that produce outcomes or that help us get to those outcomes. And that we forget that the people part of that, like, is the core. And if the people part isn't working or the focus isn't there, then the other stuff is like, it doesn't matter, because we have to make sure that we're focusing on the people part. So it goes back to what you said, but also just that we can't serve those other things. We can't serve a hammer. We can't serve those things. We can only serve the people that we interact with.
Agreed.
Yes.
And, the important point to make along that line is outside the gate, right? Or hashtag no gates for Armando. We started these conversations talking about the situations at work and whatever, and we think about service. What Jen and I are focused on doing is we're talking about the people side of business. And like Christy says, it starts with people. Mm-hmm. We're talking about us, about you, about your family, and work. We all happen to work. And so the thing that I've been working on for a very, very, very long time was how to the word balance is not accurate because I'm so far out, like so lopsided. But so here's an example of where I started when my boss told me, dude, you need to take time off. And I'm like, no, I got a lot of work to do. He's like, no, you don't understand. You're not fun to be around. And you have this 4 to 6 week cycle of burning out and shutting down, and you don't answer your phone, you don't check your emails, you're totally unavailable. And he was right. He'd been tracking it. I couldn't see it, but it was because I was redlining the whole time, not taking care, eating horribly, not sleeping, blah, blah, blah. So at that point in my life, I had to set reminders on my calendar to have breakfast and to eat lunch and to leave the job site or leave the office. If I didn't do that, I would just work, right? And all of my personal goals, all of my family connections were dwindling and dying on the vine because I was not available to do that. And so to the point around serving, and y'all really need to go listen to Adam's episode about self-care on the Lean Builder Hoots on the Ground podcast, because we have to take care of ourselves first. In order to serve, I must take care of myself so that I can serve others. What do you think, Jen?
You're speaking right now to my heart. And again, there's not a lot of people in this feed right now that work with me directly. One of them is Rachel, and she has been around me the entire time that she's been with us. And she and I have this like joke, like literally at lunchtime, she'll call me, "Did you eat lunch?" And it's not funny. It's not just like a comedy thing because she's, bored. It's because we've worked so much together that like she knows I will just work. I will work through lunch. It'll be 3 p.m. and I'll be, oh crap, I forgot to, go and have lunch. Like that simple. To where you said calendar, and again, everything is on my calendar. And it's not because like I need to stick to this certain agenda. It's not that piece of it. It's that when we get so focused. And so again, this is what I've realized is our passion. A lot of ours is our work. A lot of what we're doing, that's our passion. And when we love it, and Will talks about this a lot. And so like when we're passionate about something and we love it, like it's easy to be there in that space and to want to do more. And, that's where our time goes, but it also keeps us from stopping and taking a breath and having that self-reflection and having that time where it's like, it's okay to step away. It's okay to stop and, get a reset and come back because we're so passionate about it. And I think sometimes we think, oh, it's okay because we're passionate and we're loving what we're doing. We're happy. And so it's okay, but it's not. People that love what they're doing and they're amazing at their jobs, like that, those are the ones that a lot of times it's the hardest for them to stop and take that time and realize the importance of stopping and taking care of ourselves, because we get so caught up in it and we're doing good things and we're happy and we're not miserable. So it's okay, but it's not okay.
Yes, because we neglect the things that refill our cup, right?
Yes.
Family, exercise, sleep, healthy diet. Back in that time when I was, working, I was at the office, like I was first at the office and I was last to leave. Like that was, and if you beat me one time, that was the last time you were going to beat me. Mm-hmm. And it was just this thing that I had. Now, I wasn't exactly the people person that I am now, right? Like I was responsible for people's careers and people's performance, but I didn't treat them like people. I treated them like tools, right? It was flip-flopped. I wasn't serving them. I was serving my own. And here's the thing, right? Like I'm serving my own ego, my own need for influence, to grow my influence, to climb the ladder. And I was chewing through people. And Thomas points it out, right? Like, yeah, we're serving, but we end up using people as tools because we're uncomfortable to do the behavior ourselves. Like back to the key word here, vulnerability.
Yep.
For me to treat people like people was a degree of vulnerability that I was not prepared to go to, because I wasn't okay with getting vulnerable with myself. And so what does that mean? My whole life, and Hoots and I, we've talked about this. I even gave him like a list of the way I've designed my life. And he's like, damn, what the hell's wrong with you? I'm like, yeah, I know. But I had designed my life in such a way that nobody was going to be close to me. No, like I was very social, look at these things. I can't keep people away with all of this. But I was very social, and it gave the appearance that I was connected to people, that people were close to me, but nobody was close to me. Nobody knew. And and here's what I mean by nobody was close to me. It didn't matter what they said or thought. Like, their care for me was irrelevant. Like, I'm gonna say that again. The care that people had for me was irrelevant, and they had tons of it, because I was so focused on performing and achieving and executing and delivering. I was so focused on serving myself, expanding my comfort, not serving others. And then, I had quite a few awakenings because of amazing leaders, amazing human beings that were not timid about letting me know that I was underserving, that I had to start letting people in. And that took, I'm still on the path of figuring that out. Like, how do I do that now? Of course, this may sound cheesy, but like you and I, Jen, we started this conversation about the 5S in relationships. I had to get vulnerable with that. That grew. We got Adam in, we got the No BS tribe. The three of us talked several times throughout the week. There's accountability. I made a request to Adam this morning, and I don't know if you heard it, Jen, and No BS tribe, this is for y'all too. Like, things are growing. Like, our exposure, our reach, our influence is growing because of the contributors, right? Like, huge deal. Now, I know that I have an ego problem.
What?
I know, your tribe, I know that's probably a shocker to y'all. I have an ego problem, and it is going to be very easy for me to continue to seek and chase the feeling and the attention and not take care of myself. But I have you guys, I have all of that was awesome. I have so many people in my life now, more, and again, it's not just a social contact. Y'all are speaking into my life, and I'm prepared to receive it. I can receive it and do something with that. So much so that I took my first vacation a week ago, and I hadn't had a vacation in 5.5 years prior to that. Like, I don't know if Sean Moran's out there. He's the first one that ever called me on it. And like, for real, my team, the Central Region Lean Beasts, there was an intervention at the 2019 LCI Congress. They all got together and said, bro, you need to take time off. Like, you're not taking care of yourself, blah, blah, blah. So this has been a recurring thing my whole life. So I said, well, yeah, I've got time scheduled in the next couple of months. Like, okay, well, what are you doing? It's like, well, I'm going to Seattle. We're like, oh, awesome. What are you going to do? So, well, I'm going to go visit Seattle Children's Hospital to kind of see their continuous improvement efforts and how they approach everything. They're like, Jesse, that's work. I'm like, no. It's vacation, I promise. And so it's taken a lot of support, a lot of amazing people for me to start taking care of myself. And like I said, just took camping trip, which resulted in a topless video. And just so y'all know, like, most of these things, there's a dress code that I didn't know about, except for the after party, the clubhouse after party, no dress code. What do you say about that, Jen?
Oh, I'm just glad I have people around me that support the shirt is required, pants are required, things like that. So you said a lot of things. And so a couple of things that pinged inside me was the listening piece of self-care. And you're like, okay, what does that mean? Because there's two pieces. One is we continue to feed off of the things going on around us. And when we're listening to that, and this is the part that's going to get a little uncomfortable, because people can understand this is the industry we work in. We work in an industry that when you work hard and you get up early and you stay late and you kill yourself trying to do everything, you are rewarded, you are elevated, you are recognized, because you are working so hard and you are doing more than other people and you are hitting the budget, the schedule. You're doing the things that people expect, and you're rewarded for it. And that, again, nobody wants to talk about those conversations on, I know, but what are we losing? What is getting sacrificed so that we hit those marks? Whatever's here and here, all of that's not being talked about. Nobody wants to talk about those things because, again, you and I are leading a healthcare mental health awareness panel next week. Suicide rate in construction, one of the highest. Substance abuse, one of the highest. Like, those are significant. And that's great that we can get good people, and we're getting people into an industry that has huge gaps and needs people. And it's great that we're building these amazing projects and, structures and things like that. I mean, those are like significant, and it's not going to ever go away. But what is being sacrificed? What am I sacrificing? But also, what is the expectation of the people around me, of the sacrifices they have to make to be able to be elevated and recognized, instead of it being flipped? That we will not accept that. We will not promote that. We will not say that that's okay to hit the outcome, to hit the milestone, to hit that bottom line, when the people afterwards are not okay.
Yes. Yes. We got a long way to go. And so Adam says we cannot continue to take care of others if we're not taken care of, right? Hashtag self-care. And so part of my recipe, and be ready, Jen, because I'm coming after you.
Oh, gosh.
Part of my recipe is allowing people in and not keeping them at arm's length, right? And so as I let people in, there's a commitment there. And once I've made a commitment, I am one to hold myself accountable to my commitments. So part of it is like, I know I can't do it by myself. I know that I need help. And so I recruit help. I go out and I find people that are going to help me elevate my game. And so Mr. Herbert Reed, y'all need to follow Herbert, because like every day is bam, like explosion of energy, and let's go, let's get it, let's serve, let's be amazing. And so here's the cheat code, right? It's important that we create work relationships to help with holding each other accountable, to stop and reset, even just for lunch. He's bad at it. We're all bad at it, but we're better together. I've heard that said once or twice. And so the question, Jen, is what do you do? What are you working to establish in terms of caring for Jennifer?
Well, I'm just going to own I suck at this. And I've sucked at it for a very long time. And just to say that is a big deal for me, because I'm like, no, I'm good. Everything's good. I'm taking care of everything. Everything's checking the boxes, making sure I'm hitting the things that I'm supposed to do, paying the bills, doing the things I'm supposed to do. So I suck at self-care. And it's not because I don't eat healthy, and it's not because I don't, go out and get exercise and things like that. I just don't prioritize it. And ever. It's just, I just go. And if I can get something fit in here, that's great. But if not, it's okay, because everything else is getting taken care of. And no one else is around me that goes, wait, hold a minute, hold on. What are you doing this, whatever, until, you and Adam and, some more people that are around me started asking those questions, and I didn't have an answer. And so for me, we started I like to draw, and I like to read, and I like to do things like that. So it's make a commitment to do this every day, make a commitment to set some time aside for that. And I failed. We did a couple of them, and it was awesome and great. We'll probably share some of those at some point, but it was still I couldn't do it. And because I didn't feel I could make the commitment because I couldn't follow through with the commitment. I just was I'm not going to do this. And then we kept this cycle of trying different things. And finally, you and I, had a real conversation, a real uncomfortable conversation on what can you do? And I think for me, it was the first time where I had to stop and go, you know what? Maybe I know I can once a week take 30 minutes and just do nothing and go sit outside or go jump on the trampoline with my daughter or take a walk. Like I know that I feel good that I can commit to 30 minutes once a week. Now again, probably did more than that, but that's all I felt I could commit to. And you were like, that's okay. That's fine. Like, let that be what you're committing to. And let's see how we do with that. And I think the ask, you asked, like, what you didn't say, this is what you need to do, this is what you need to do, this is what you need to do, because this is what works for me, because I'm going to you next. But you didn't come to me with, here's what will work because it works for me. Here's what you need to do because it works for me. And I know that this is how it's going to help you. You said, what can you do? And like, that's a big question, even though it doesn't seem like it, because then you allowed me to assess and think about it and receive you, but also go, he wants really to know what I can do. And it made me think, and also made me go, you know what, I feel good with this. And you were like, then that's what you need to do.
Yep.
And that was it. That was the accountability. That was and when you check, how are you doing? Have you done this? And I'm like, yes. And you celebrate it. And then you're like, okay. And I mean, and that's all it was, but it was huge because now those are wins for me, where before it was every day was a fail because I wasn't doing the things that I thought I was supposed to be doing. And so it was a fail every day, where now it's like, that was a win. I got another win and I got another win. So that was a huge shift for me. And that's been in the last, 6 months.
Yeah. Yep. Ooh, Christy Powell says accountability is not easy to find. And I want to highlight something you said about celebrating the wins, because we're high achievers, right? We're used to getting SMPS awards for most fabulous human being in the galaxy every other year, right? Like, we're used to this sort of accomplishment, and that's the tribe. Like, we got ballers.
We got heavy hitters, and huge ones.
And so it's like, celebrate small wins. When the first time when you said you were playing on the trampoline with the girls, right? It would have been easy to frame that as a fail, but it's not a fail. Like, that's a huge win, because when was the last time you had done that?
I didn't remember.
And so it's that, like, okay, we made a commitment. We found something that was really actionable, and like, start there. And it's setting the seed, planting the seed to build upon, setting that baseline. And it's growing, right? We're now, as we talk, there's like, oh, that's an opportunity. This thing's coming off my schedule. Fill that with reflection time.
Yes.
Or another cheat code. Be brave, be extra brave like James, and watch this with your wife.
Yes.
Because she's like, I guess she's right there behind him saying, see, I told you so. I told you. I love it. And we need that right now. We need that voice. And back to the SRR cycle, right? We need to receive. And I know, like, when I don't like to be told what to do. Like, my instinct when somebody, even if they're being very polite and gentle about, hey, you should do this, my instinct is, oh yeah, watch me do the opposite. But it's about holding ourselves accountable. It's about prioritizing yourself, right? We are the number one priority. Every success that I've experienced, every failure that I've experienced, I contributed 100% of what I could to that experience. And if I'm not taking care of myself, I am underserving. I mean, you and I talked about this on my drive up to Dallas last night. I just executed my first gig as Depth Builder LLC, and which was amazing. It was a beautiful experience. Shout out to my folks in San Antonio, Lee Crump and Kyle Weller and the crew out there. My original plan was to go to Cincinnati to have some fun with Hoots and then fly in that night so that I can be at this engagement on whatever it was, Wednesday or Thursday. I didn't go to Cincinnati. Things changed. So I stayed home and got prepped. And I was like, oh my God, had I done that, I would have been running on fumes, been very proud of myself. Like, I'm traveling the country and doing all these things, and underserved. But because I had time to sleep and eat and think and process, I was able to show up and show out, baby. And
You
so
killed
before you come after me, I got to go to Kirby, right? Because the question is, what are you doing to take care of yourself? Kirby says she's starting to care for herself by committing to her morning workouts. The physical and mental benefits are awesome, of course. Better than that is that it's one area I don't break promises to myself. Ooh, that's a big thought right there. I show up better at work, for my girls, for my husband daily because of it. Hell yes.
Good job, Kirby.
Yeah. What do you think about breaking promises to yourself?
Okay, well, first, no. First, because you're gonna try to get this back on me, and I'm putting it right back on you. So we talk about what do we do for self-care? What do we do to do for ourselves?
Mm-hmm.
Just you have been super intentional. I know it took you a while to get where you are now, but you take time and you devote time daily for with that. So can you talk through like what you do?
Yeah, so there's a few things in my life that my self-care system. One is I have a therapist, and she and I connect every 4 to 6 weeks to help me. She helped me come to terms with that I'm not a horrible person, because I am. I'm on the catch and release program, like chronically single, and that's okay. Like there's nothing wrong with that. My therapist said it's okay, so it's okay, y'all. So that's helped me like, here's the thing. The value, and Thomas has pointed this out many times, the value in having that third party objective listener for me is immense, because I still have issues around trust. And so when people are like, even if they're giving me really great advice, my non-trusting mind says, what do they want from me? What are they trying to get? Why are they buttering me up? Like, and I know that's wicked thinking, but that's trauma and all that other stuff. So having my therapist help me really think, like, she has no interest. There's no risk in her, falling in love with me or the relationship ending or whatever. So like, it's just an objective perspective. So that's helped me a whole bunch. The other thing is I have my advisory council. So I have a group of people that I've selected for every person serves a very specific purpose in terms of helping me expand my capabilities around certain skills that are underdeveloped. And I'll reach out to those people as needed. Then I have you and Adam. We have twice a week, we have a scheduled call in the morning, and we check in with each other. We challenge each other. We ideate, brainstorm, all that stuff. That's super, super helpful, because the creativity and the manner in which I serve now has been deeply informed by that. And then there's the daily coffee with me, which I learned from the Princess Kim White, of sitting down. And for me, it's journaling, right? Like, I like to write. I don't spell well. You can ask Jen. So if there's any like typos in the book, just blame them all on me, because I don't see them. Anyways, but every day I set aside an hour a day to write, I'll say journal, and we call it having coffee with myself. So all the stuff is off, the computer's off, I'm just sitting down. I have my remarkable notepad. It's like a digital notepad, and I love it. But it's a really expensive Etch-a-Sketch, like for real. But the value in it is I don't have a bunch of papers, and I can go back and find like everything I've written for the past year. It's all there. And I can't like go to the internet from it. Like, I'm just there. It's like it's focused. And Kirby and I talked about this, because we're overachievers and we want to win. And I start counting how many pages did I write yesterday. I need to write that. It's not about how many words I get out. It's about me sitting with myself, examining my own thinking, celebrating the small wins, maybe thinking about where I want to go, how far I've come. Sometimes I write like 2 paragraphs, and the rest of the time is just me thinking about things. But what that does is it helps me get centered with myself. It forces me to be honest with myself. Like, did I exercise? Why didn't I exercise? Why did I get that double meat cheeseburger or that deep dish pizza from Little Caesars again? Like, I get to evaluate these things and course correct. And so the feedback loop is super tight. And I start my day already understanding where I'm coming from and where I'm going. And it helps me see things differently. And so one thing, I mentioned this to you yesterday, and this is Kirby's fault because I got to have lunch with Kirby yesterday. We were talking about creativity, but she was talking about her daughters, and her daughter's speaking like 2 languages, 2.5. And of course she's amazing. And the thought came to mind, like, every infant is born and able to speak every single language, right? And they learn broadly and concurrently. Like, there's no, you need to itemize things and put your checklist and just let's go. And it's through play. And so the question that came to my mind is like, okay, so we're born that way, but it seems to go away as we age.
It goes away because of biases and experience and limitations and guardrails and things that we experience and go, "Ooh, I don't want to go there again. That may hurt." Or, "I don't want to do that again because somebody gave me some advice and said that, I probably wouldn't be okay with that, or I wouldn't do good with that." And we take that, and all of a sudden that becomes those guardrails of where we allow ourselves to go.
Yes. Oh, look, Maria says, you started with understanding. Ooh, hashtag understanding. I said it.
Oh. Nice one. Yes, absolutely.
And so the Kirby pointed out, I said, well, babies trust unconditionally. They trust everything and everybody, and because they're dependent on it, because of their physical state. Right. And so if I trusted, this is where we kind of ended. If I trusted everybody back then, and I was able to have an imagination and think wild and crazy and awesome and learn rapidly and enormously, what if I start trusting everybody again? Will that unlock creativity and learning and opportunities to serve? And my theory right now is 100%. Like, I got to learn how to trust everybody.
Because of all of that feed that we see and all those comments and all those things that are happening right here in front of our face.
Yes. And so opening up to accountability. Tom Weathers points out, right? Christy Powell, you got to love the accountability from groups like this, No BS Tribe. And when I have issues with the word accountability, but what I mean is letting people closer and making commitments to those people. The only way I'm going to make a commitment to you is if I trust you. Bottom line. If I don't trust you, you ain't getting no commitment from me. And for me to trust you requires me to be vulnerable.
Yes.
And that's the scary part.
Yes. So we've got to stop. Like, that's a whole nother live stream. So note that on the board, because we have about 30 minutes left, and I want to take the transition from the self-care and the things we've talked about and transition that into the givers and takers, go-getters, go-givers conversation. Okay. Because I think it's a good way, and that gives us another topic for another show. So anyway, a couple of shout outs I want to give, and then I want to make this transition so we can start digging into that, because the comments are going crazy right now. Yeah. And so one is, I want to give a couple shout outs. Is one, Ashley P. I don't know if she's on, but she had a post this week on social media, and it was amazing because I think someone was interviewing her, ask her a question about like what is she doing for herself, or what did she do to recognize herself. And she said, I got up and I looked in the mirror and I said, look at that dimple. That's a cute dimple. She goes, and really, I'm cute. Not just that dimple's cute. And that's like amazing, one, because like doing it, which is the first thing, and then sharing it and owning that, like owning, hey, you're out there and you are beautiful and you are doing some cool things. And like, we got to own that stuff. And we have a whole series on owning your impact and what does that mean and how do you do that? And again, you can go back and listen to those, but like, that's a huge piece of owning the stuff you're doing. So that's the stuff you and I talk about all the time.
Yes, look at that. Michelle Cordy says, I love you and I'm proud of you every day.
Yes.
That is self-care.
Oh, it used
No
to be so
longer
negative.
with the negative stuff.
Yes. So that, I mean, that's huge, but it's for us, because we're that high performing, go all the time, you know, that's what we live. Like, we don't stop and understand that as much as we're doing that, and maybe we're getting that recognition from the outside, and maybe we're getting the light shown us from the outside. But if we're not shining that light on us, like, people can see that, people can see and observe that and watch that and go, you know, there, like you said, people were telling you, like, you're not showing up good, you're not treating people good, you're not interacting with people good. They can see it, even though if you think you're doing everything right. So it's so important to have that, you know, to be able to say those things to ourselves. And the other shout out is, I talked to Keon this week about something else, and he's just like, Jennifer, it's so easy when you're having, like you talked about earlier, the fame and all this, the goodness happening, to feed into that and feed into that, and then you get so much into it, you stop and forget why you were doing it in the first place.
Why in the hell were you doing it?
What's around you and the purpose. And so we've got to make sure that we have that tribe around us and that group of people that are, you know, helping keep us in check and asking those questions and caring for us, genuinely caring for us enough to where they'll call us out. And you and Adam and I, we do that a lot. And it's one of those where they're kind of, they're uncomfortable conversations, but they're not bad. They're just, hey, I'm going to call bullshit on it. Like, you know, like, hey, you're saying this, but is it real? And so like really pushing beyond that. And so those are, I think, two things we've got to make sure we do. So again, making the transition.
Yep.
Good morning.
Yes. Yesenia says her self-care is loving herself and beginning in the day and ending the day with high energy. We got a lot of good stuff. So I gotta bring them up.
Okay, no, bring them up, and then we'll transition over. We're good.
Tom Weathers said he's heard this in other circles, and this is a reflection point for the No BS tribe out there, right? Who gets the best of you, and who gets what's left of you?
Ooh.
Getting them leftovers, baby. And Ian Smith dropping some resources. Practice of mindfulness has allowed me to sit with my feelings and thoughts. So he dropped the link in the chat. Check it out. Man, I'm gonna tell you, meditating and mindfulness, power move, uncomfortable, hard, but son of a gun, it's like I said, power move.
Because you have to stop, right? You have to stop.
That's the thing. All you gotta do is pump the brakes, baby. Pump the brakes for a little bit. And like Jennifer started, let's just start with 10 minutes a week. Like, can you find 10 minutes and then build on that? Another important point, Herbert Reed says, your why, right? Why should include taking care of you. 100%.
Yes. And then Michelle's, you know, we got to bring hers up again. Yes. When we shine our light, others can shine their light. It always starts with us. Okay, so keep that up, because I think that's a great transition to the givers and takers. So had lunch with Jamie Knox probably a month ago, and we were talking about go-getters and go-givers. And she's like, Jennifer, I had this thought based on you and Jesse and the stuff you're talking about. And again, we barely even got our food. You know, we barely ate our food because we were just like, oh my gosh, it was amazing. But she said the concept and the idea of go-getters and go-givers. And again, we live in an industry where we are go, go, go. So the go is, I mean, it's obvious, but it's those people that are out there, the go-getters are going on, what can I do that can help me keep moving forward? What can I do that's going to elevate me? What can I do that's going to get me the sale, get me the, you know, build the relationship that's going to get me what I need next? That's the go-getters. They're go, go, go. The go-givers are still wanting to move forward and still wanting to grow and still wanting to be there, but their focus and their core is on how can I give to other people so that then it comes back to me. And like, it just blew my mind, because you're right. There's people out there, and we know, because we have a tribe of them, that they are, how can I go out and I show up and I give? And LinkedIn's a great example of how are we out there elevating and shining a light on other people. And guess what? Every time we do that, that light comes right back on us. So now they're pulling us in with what they're doing, and we didn't have to do anything but just support them and help them. And now we're a part of something bigger than where we started, and we're still advancing and we're still growing and we're still, finding those things we were looking for, but it wasn't to sacrifice somebody else.
Yes.
That's a huge concept.
Yes. Consume. Oh my God. Like, talk about saying it plainly. They consume your time, money, and energy. Amy, always coming hard, girl. Love it. Yes, absolutely. The way I reconcile that idea for me personally is the difference between achieving and contributing. If I'm looking to achieve, that's all about me. I'm a taker. Me. And I love me some me, but that is not a sustainable model. A sustainable model is giving, right? And Adam Grant wrote a book. I think we touched on this earlier, or at some point, and the givers and the takers. And so I'm sure No BS Tribe out there, you're probably thinking about those people in your space that that they're giving and always speaking into your life. People like Davis Hambrick, right? Like, there's amazing human beings out there that you just know they got that special touch, right? Like, just beautiful people. And then there's other people in your life that like, I'm gonna be spending time with them, and I am going to feel exhausted after.
The energy vampires, the people that like suck things out of you.
Yes. And so Thomas poses this question to Jennifer, right? Because we're talking about self-care. And, we talked about us individually, and now we're talking about the other people that are in our space, in our world. Is it selfish behavior? Where do you draw the line as it relates to the go-getters, the go-givers, the givers and the takers? Jennifer Lacey.
So for me, the metric, and I'm just going to say it that way, the way that I measure what that is when it's done and it's accomplished, and I've done it. Like, I've been able to check the box. Who benefited from it? And if all I can say is me, and again, we talk about selfish behavior, and it's easy to go, well, that's just for me. No. If I take 10 minutes and I take 20 minutes or 30 minutes and step away and reset, or have a conversation, or go jump on the trampoline with my daughter, that is not only benefiting me. That is, it's exponential. And again, sometimes it's easy to get caught up. I have this conversation with a lot of people on, they don't like to share their wins. It's bragging. It's I don't want people to think that, that I have my ego and all this stuff. And I'm like, stop, hold up, like, put the brakes on. Like, when you are celebrating something and you're excited about it and you're sharing it, we've got to get away from the mindset that, they just want to celebrate themselves. They just care about themselves. They just want to show, look at me. And there's times that happens. But we've got to stop thinking it's bad to celebrate things that we've done, things that we've accomplished, things that can impact other people. And that's where we are. That's where we live. And we've got to get past that. We just have to. And I think that's, for me, that what Thomas's question is where, how is self-care, selfish behavior, where does that fall? For me, at the end, when I get done, what did this benefit? And part of it could, and if it's anything else outside of just me, and I know some people are going to say, well, it's okay to just be you. You're right. But for me, that's how I measure it. For me, if it helps me show up better to an afternoon meeting. It helps me show up better when my daughters get home from school. It helps me show up better, in a conversation, or just, to be able to get rest so that I can be like, if it benefits anything else other than just me, then it was a win. It was worth the time that I took to do it. So that's my answer. Probably not the same as everybody else's, but that's mine.
Awesome. Look at that. Giselle, again, bringing it. It's not self-care. It's actually caring for your well-being so that others get the best you. Yes.
So she does. So yeah. So she gets it. She gets me. She does.
Giselle bringing it. And then Laura Hernandez, who I'm excited to meet
On Monday. Yes.
Says we have an obligation to ourselves and others to take care of ourselves. And of course, Brene Brown, right? In a society that says put yourself last, self-love and self-acceptance are almost revolutionary. Yeah, and this echoes what you said, Jen. We must do the little things each day to love ourselves. As a result, we will be able to help others at a level that we did not know was possible. Like, amen, because that's what I'm experiencing right now. It's like the more I love myself, the greater service I am to others. And then Steve Martin, right, but dumping lyrics out there from the book, like, or from his songs, plural, like 2 songs. Mm-hmm. He says it's easy when you're part of the No BS tribe, waterworks, right, because allergies. Jump in the fountain where the healing is flowing. Whoo, baby, come through the valley, down to the river, hashtag into the water, 100%. For me, when it comes to people, and I'm pretty, what's the name, or what's the word? Ruthless about cutting people out of my life and maintaining boundaries. Like, it's not a problem for me. And so when it comes to the givers and the takers, or the go-getters and the go-givers, and this, I don't recommend this, but this is why it's so easy. I just assume everybody's out to take. And I watch and listen and pay attention to the words that they use, and like everything. And then at some point I'll say, like, oh, okay, like, they're cool. They're really about giving and serving and building their capabilities, and they demonstrate the behaviors that they speak about. And okay, that's a giver. And I adjust my time to minimize the contact that I have with takers. And in my head, takers and go-getters are the same thing. Go-getters sounds more positive, but I've seen that. I mean, we've all had those people that come up to you and talk to you, and man, they make you feel enormous in the moment.
Right.
And then the next time
you big, so they can step on you to go to wherever else they need.
You got it. And then the next time you see them, they don't even make eye contact with you, right? Like, all right, you're dead to me. I'm done. You're off the list. Mm-hmm. And so I'm just very clear. There's people that if I can't speak and complete my thought, that's an indicator that they're a taker. If
they're not listening. Yes.
They're not listening. They don't give a damn about what I'm saying. Yes. They need to get their message across. If I'm sharing, like being vulnerable and saying, hey, I had this thing, I kept missing the exit coming into Dallas, and just being human and connecting, and they come out and they start solutionizing. Well, you should have done this, and have you tried this out? Don't use Google Maps. Whoa, like, all right, done, bro. Like, I'm talking to you because you're a human, and I just like, let's just talk. And if all you do is show up to fix me, we got a problem. You're off the list. Now, we know that the fixers are going to be coming out once the book hits, Jen, and so you're going to have to navigate.
Oh my gosh, this is a whole another conversation.
And so I share my method because it's been very fruitful for me, because there was a time where it was I practiced this, like, it was impolite to cut people out. It was impolite to let people suck up all the airtime and talk over people and I would just like, well, it's not polite for me to say anything about that. Bull corn. Like, I absolutely have to advocate against it. And I absolutely have to be clear about, hey, especially when I'm like engaging with business leaders out there, it's like, okay, this is your team makeup. This is what it looks like in terms of the dynamics. And it seems like that's what you want. Yes. Okay. Well, there's a couple of people here that don't fit that. Like, let's just talk plainly about it. They need Should we craft an intervention for them? Or should we help them find a group that best fits their style? And it's easy for me to do that because that's what I do, right? I'm going to limit the time and I'm going to pour my energy into being honest and letting people know, like, hey, man, these are the rules of the game. This is what's acceptable. And let's be clear about what is not acceptable. Bruce Grebel says, Jesse, yes, listening and understanding.
Yes.
That listening thing, Jen, how easy is that listening?
Well, we already know that one, it's hard, and people not only struggle with it, but some of them don't know how. And that's not a cop out. That's not I think they've just lived their entire life, or a majority of their work life, with their voice needs to be the loudest one. They have all the answers. They know everything. So there's nothing you can add, nothing you can give me, Jesse, that's going to elevate me and help me. So I don't need to listen to what you have to say, because there's nothing that you're going to say that's going to help me. If that's how people show up, if that's how you show up, you are missing so much. There's so much out there that you don't get, because we know we are beings that are always in a place of flux and flow and evolution. And if you show up at the point where you're able to allow yourself to listen and go, even if, and I did this, Maria's in the chat, but we did an alignment meeting with the entire accounting department, which was amazing. Let me tell you how much I know about accounting. But I was able to go in there with a group and talk about the things that matter: collaboration, continuous improvement, learning, leadership development, the things that are where my happy place is. And they were able to elevate and talk about, value streaming and some things that will help them. But again, they could have come in that room and gone, how's Jennifer going to help us? She's not even in the accounting department. And that's the mentality. We've got to be able to know that every interaction, there's something we can take, everything. And when we can show up like that, we will grow. We will help the other person grow, because then we can listen and we can give feedback. And then we're both on this path to a better place. And again, it's hard, because then you have to stop and you have to have that moment where you're like, oh crap, I don't know everything. And I don't have the answers. And they may know more than me. And I hate to say it, but the higher we grow and elevate in our positions and the more of that you see, because then it's like, ooh, I got to be vulnerable, and I got to be where I'm less than somebody else. That's a scary place for people, because then it's like, well, then what could happen? Then what are they going to find? What are they going to see that then can be called out? And again, I mean, if you're not in that place and you're in this protective place all the time, again, you'll protect yourself, but you're not allowing yourself to grow and get better.
Yes. Stay stagnant.
Yes.
Woo, man, we're coming up on time here. So
Okay.
I got a little idea.
Okay.
Amy Olmedo says all great leaders should be in balance with themselves and the people around them. Right? And how do you achieve that? Listen. You got to listen. It's okay that you don't have all the answers, because it's kind of like not possible to have all the answers. And then Christy says celebrating success is uncomfortable.
Yes.
Agreed. Like totally, like me, the deflectinator. I think that Steve Martin gave me that.
Yes.
Deflector.
Well, I have homework. Okay. Anyway, I just have homework now for the whole group, but we don't have to be there yet. But go ahead, go.
Okay, good. So y'all got homework. It's not my fault.
Yes.
And I'm just gonna say that homework, I'm gonna do it wearing whatever I want to wear.
Ooh. There'll be no videos required.
Giselle, thank you so much for showing up and just jumping in head first. I love that. With the Selfie Society, many people take the self-care movement to do me and only me, which is how we move into a narcissistic society. So there is a fine line. We've got to be responsible with that. And Herbert kind of has a remedy to that, right? It says, if your circle of influence supports you, those celebrations of self become easier because they know your work ethic, right? So let's, as the tribe, no BS tribe, let's celebrate together. Like, let's build that muscle. Woohoo! Let's build the muscle of celebrating, and celebrating with humility, and celebrating with honor, and celebrating in such a way that serves others and provides an example of how to serve. What do you think about that, Jennifer?
I think it's awesome. And again, all these, like, I want to make sure I hit my points because my brain, will go and lose it. So a couple of things. One is, yes, let's think about the say-do ratio. You and I talk about that a lot. And we talk about a lot. We say a lot of things, but what are we doing? So, like, make sure that we're not just talking, we're actually going and following up with the things we say. There's that. The other one is, those of you that are new, we have a pod on the side with all of our BS tribe members that have committed to being a part of it. And all we ask is if you drop a green heart in the chat, we will add you to the pod. And the requirement is, if you have a post that you want people to jump on and support and elevate and make comments and love on it, drop it in the chat. The only thing is that it has to be focused on people. It's not to sell anything. It's not to promote anything. It's to anything that we can jump on and love and support. Put a heart in the comment and we will add you to it. And there's conversations going on in there. There's links and things for people to go and love on and stuff like that. So please do that, because we want to make sure we're supporting each other. And so my homework for everyone on is this week, or actually the next 2 weeks, because we don't get back on for another 2 weeks, is go out there. And I'm going to take it from Christy Powell. It's uncomfortable to celebrate our successes. I want you to go out there and I want you to celebrate successes and tag that No BS tribe and tag us so that we can celebrate and show this is the space we're creating. We're creating a space of trust and authenticity and transparency and vulnerability. But not only are you putting yourself out there, but you have a group of people around you that are going to just jump on it and love on it. And so again, tag us so we can go and be in there. And also, again, do that, celebrate, own those successes, put them out there so that we can love on them.
Damn. Ooh, we got some green hearts coming up. And then we got Alan. Really, when I think about a powerfully humble human being, it's Alan. Because Alan came.
Follow him.
Right? Follow Alan. He's a beautiful, beautiful human being. And he says, everyone has something to teach you. Thanks for the reminder, Jennifer.
Well, we found him on Clubhouse, and he's like this mastermind tech guy. And we connected with him, and he's like, he loves, and there's a connection here with this. And we started talking about stuff. We're not even in the same industry.
Yep.
Can I just make one point? I know we got to jump off. We only have 3 minutes. So when we started this, Jesse and I, we both are in the construction industry. We were both in the lean space. So we have we have very similar people around us. And we jumped in and started talking about these things, making sure that we're talking about the people part of it. And I'm just going to tell you, with our 500 people, contributors, 50% are in the construction industry. That's freaking amazing, because Jesse's talked about the crossover. And the stuff we're talking about is not just in our space. We will highlight that and elevate that because that's our roles and that's what we do. But 50% of the people in this space, it's other industries, but it's the same issues and the same things that we're dealing with.
Because people.
Yes, it's about people.
Right? People just want to matter, and that's what we're here to figure out. How do we do that? How do we demonstrate it? How do we support and breathe life into one another and help each other serve to the highest degree, to change the world, one world at a time.
Yes.
Woo. So you got the homework, y'all. You got to celebrate something, tag people. Hopefully you got a few minutes, go through the chat, follow everybody, because everybody here, we're all like-minded. For the folks out there that didn't enter the chat, awesome. Thank you for being here.
Yes. Thank you for showing up.
Because resistance is futile. You
Absolutely.
will be contributing at some point. Just ask Thomas.
Yes. But don't forget Clubhouse.
Clubhouse, yes. So again, no dress code, no tops required. You can wear whatever you want. I've got my fishnet jersey, my pink snakeskin boots. and I'm gonna be sporting that while I'm on the Clubhouse after party. I just put the link. It's in the LinkedIn chat, in the YouTube chat, and the Facebook chat. If you're a first timer, please click that little link. It's super easy to get in, and we'll have a follow-up conversation for about an hour to get to know each other, dig into some deeper thoughts. There's a gazillion comments.
When Anson Green, I don't even know if I've seen Anson. Maybe I just first time I've seen that name, but it's exactly what it is. Like, these topics are cross-cutting industries. It's the human condition.
Boom. Yep. Anson's the man. You got to follow Anson. Like, if you're into workforce development, he's got the keys to the kingdom. For real. Yes. For real. So jump in. Everybody else, we didn't get to record. Go ahead.
5 minutes, 9:20.
5 minutes. Yeah, 9:20 we'll start. But I love you. I get, Jen and I had fun doing this, and then I get to do it again because I got to go back and watch it and look at all the comments because I didn't get to see all the darn comments. Yes. All love to Adam Hoots for being in the background and running the keys, spinning the ones and twos, because that helps me and Jen really focus and have deeper conversation. So
yes. Thank you.
Hugs, kisses, love y'all very much, and we'll catch you at the after party.
Thank y'all.